Every second you spend avoiding pain, you're signing a lifetime contract with regret. You think you're saving yourself by staying comfortable, but comfort is a thief. It steals your dreams quietly, one lazy choice at a time. The truth is, you're going to suffer no matter what. The only question is, will you suffer now and build the life you want? Or will you suffer forever wishing you had the courage to start? In this moment, right now, decides which pain you choose. Pain has a strange way of making you believe it will last forever. In the moment, it feels endless, suffocating, and overwhelming. Every muscle in your body screams, every part of your mind begs for relief. But the truth is, pain has an expiration date. It may last minutes, hours, days, standing, or months, but it will eventually fade. What doesn't fade is the memory of the moments when you gave up. Understanding. What doesn't fade is the regret of knowing you could have pushed a little longer but chose to quit. The human mind is built to survive discomfort, but it is also wired to remember failure. And that's why the pain you feel now is nothing compared to the pain you'll feel for the rest of your life if you walk away. Every time you choose to stop, when you know you could have kept going, you're making a decision to trade temporary relief for permanent disappointment. Relief might feel sweet in the moment, but regret is bitter and it lasts far longer. The mind will replay the times you broke, the moments you didn't fight, over and over again. And the thing about regret is that it doesn't just stay in the past, it haunts your future. It shows up in your thoughts when you're alone, standing. It whispers in your ear when you see someone else who did what you were too afraid to do. It eats away at you, piece by piece, until you either learn from it or get crushed by it. Pain, on the other hand, is a teacher that demands respect. It doesn't care about your comfort, your excuses, or your feelings. It will challenge you, break you down, and strip you of every false belief about who you think you are. But pain also builds you. It sharpens your mind and strengthens your will and forces you to find out what you're really made of. It's the grind that separates those who talk from those who act. It's the fire that burns away weakness, leaving only the strongest parts of you intact. And the irony is, the same pain you fear today becomes the pride you carry tomorrow, standing. In life, there's no way to escape suffering. You can either choose to endure it now while chasing something meaningful, or you can avoid it and pay the price later. The price for avoiding pain is never small. It comes in the form of missed opportunities, broken dreams, and a life that never reached its full potential. You might convince yourself that you're playing it safe, that you're avoiding unnecessary hardship, but safety is an illusion, standing. What you're really doing is trading the pain of discipline for the pain of regret, and that's a trade you'll never win. Think about the hardest moments you faced in your life. You survived them. You may have been broken, tired, or afraid, but you made it through. At the time, it might have felt impossible, but here you are. That's proof that pain is temporary. It doesn't stay forever. What stays forever is the decision you made during that pain, whether you fought or whether you folded. That choice becomes part of your identity. You either remember yourself as someone who pushes through or someone who backs down when it matters most. The body will heal from almost anything. Muscles recover, wounds close, exhaustion fades. But the mind remembers. It remembers the nights you could have stayed up a little longer to finish what you started. Standing, it remembers the mornings you could have gotten up instead of hitting the snooze button. It remembers the workouts you skipped, the goals you put off, the challenges you walked away from. And the cruel part is, the more you give in, the easier it becomes to quit again. Quitting becomes a habit, and habits shape who you are. Enduring pain builds mental armor. Every time you choose to push past the point where you wanted to stop, you strengthen the part of you that refuses to break. Standing. That strength carries over into every area of your life, your work, your relationships, your dreams. The pain you go through now becomes your proof that you can survive more than you thought possible. And once you have that proof, it's yours forever. Standing. It's something no one can take from you. But you only get it if you're willing to suffer now instead of pushing it off into the future. Regret is heavier than any weight you'll ever lift, harder to carry than any burden you've faced, and more suffocating than any pain you've endured. You can't drop it standing. You can't rest from it, and you can't run away from it. It lives inside you, reminding you of the moment you chose comfort over growth, standing. You can avoid that weight by choosing the temporary struggle now. You can trade a few minutes, a few hours, or even a few years of pain for a lifetime of pride, standing. But that choice has to be made every single time you face the decision to keep going or to stop. Life is going to test you whether you're ready or not. You don't get to choose when challenges show up, but you do get to choose how you respond. Standing. Every challenge is an opportunity to prove to yourself that you won't be broken by something temporary. Standing. Every setback is a chance to show that your will is stronger than your pain. You can't expect the road to be easy, because an easy road never led anyone to greatness. Standing. The path worth taking is almost always the one lined with obstacles, because those obstacles are what transform you. Standing. When the pain hits and your mind starts searching for reasons to stop, remind yourself that it's not forever. Remind yourself that quitting will last much longer than the moment you're in right now. Tell yourself that you'd rather endure the burn of effort than the sting of regret. Because years from now, you won't care about the discomfort you felt in this moment. You'll only care about the decision you made, standing. And the person you become will depend entirely on whether you suffered now or suffered forever. Discipline is not punishment. It's the ultimate form of self-respect. It's the decision to do what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it. Every morning you get up, when the alarm goes off instead of hitting snooze, you're proving to yourself that you're in control. Every time you stick to your plan instead of chasing distractions, you're building a foundation for freedom. The truth is, the life you want is locked behind the doors of discipline, and those doors don't open for the lazy. Standing. Freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you want in the moment. That's the kind of freedom that traps you in cycles of weakness and regret. True freedom comes from building habits that make you unstoppable. It's not about making life easier. It's about making yourself stronger. And the stronger you are, standing, the freer you become. When you lack discipline, life decides for you. Your emotions decide when you get out of bed. Your cravings decide what you eat, standing. Your fears decide what opportunities you take. Without discipline, you're just a passenger in your own life, going wherever the road takes you, whether you like it or not. But when you build discipline, you become the driver. You choose the direction. You choose how hard you push and how far you go. You start to realize that discipline isn't the enemy of freedom. It's the birthplace of it. Every act of discipline is a small vote for the life you want to live. Tanning, every time you keep a promise to yourself, you're reinforcing that you are in control, not your circumstances. Discipline is the bridge between goals and reality. Everyone has dreams. Everyone has visions of the life they want. But most people will never see them come true because they're unwilling to pay the price. Tanning. The price is waking up early when you'd rather sleep. The price is working while others are relaxing. The price is doing the small, standing, consistent actions that no one else will see or applaud. It's easy to talk about ambition, but it's discipline that turns words into results. It's the unseen, uncelebrated hours that create the visible victories. Without discipline, your goals remain wishes floating in your mind, slowly fading as the years pass. There's a cost to everything. There's a cost to discipline, and there's a cost to lack of discipline. The difference is that the cost of discipline is paid now, standing, in the form of effort, sweat, and sacrifice. The cost of lack of discipline is paid later, in the form of regret, lost potential, standing, and a life that falls short of what it could have been. The bill always comes due. You get to decide whether you pay it with short-term discomfort or with long-term pain, standing. And if you really think about it, the discomfort of discipline is far lighter than the crushing weight of knowing you could have been more, but chose not to. Standing. Discipline is not about motivation. Motivation comes and goes like the weather. It's unreliable, unpredictable, and easily influenced by your mood. Standing. Discipline is about doing what you said you would do, regardless of how you feel. It's about setting a standard for yourself and refusing to drop below it. On the days when you're tired, discipline carries you. On the days when you're unmotivated, discipline moves you forward. When others quit because the feeling is gone, standing. Discipline keeps you in the fight. That's why disciplined people win. Not because they're always motivated, but because they act even when they're not. Fanning freedom through discipline means you're not controlled by impulses. You eat for fuel, not just taste. You work when it's time to work, even if you'd rather play. You train when your body says stop because your mind knows better. You understand that discipline is about aligning your actions with your purpose, not your mood. Standing, the more disciplined you become, the less power distractions have over you. You no longer waste hours scrolling, procrastinating, or overthinking. You take action, and action compounds. Each disciplined decision builds momentum until your life becomes a reflection of your habits, not your excuses. Discipline also builds trust in yourself. When you say you're going to do something, and you actually do it, you start to believe in your own word. Standing. You stop second guessing your ability to follow through because you've proven it to yourself over and over again. That self-trust is powerful because it removes doubt. You no longer wonder if you can do something. You know you can because you've shown yourself before. That confidence bleeds into every area of your life. People notice it, they feel it, and they respect it. But it's not about impressing others. It's about living in a way that impresses yourself. Standing. There will be days when discipline feels like a chain holding you down. You'll feel like you're missing out while others are having fun. You'll feel like the work is never ending. But what you're really doing is exchanging short-term pleasures for long-term fulfillment. While others are chasing temporary highs, you're building something that lasts. The nights you sacrifice, the mornings you endure. Standing. The temptations you resist. They're all deposits into a future where you're free from the limits that hold most people back. And one day, standing, you'll realize that the chain of discipline you thought was heavy was actually the key that unlocked your life. If you want to be free to live life on your terms, you need to earn that freedom. Freedom without discipline is chaos. It's a life of drifting, reacting, and hoping things work out. But discipline creates order. It gives structure to your actions and direction to your energy. It ensures that every day, you're moving closer to the life you want instead of further away. Standing, it's not glamorous, it's not easy, and it's not always fun, but it works. And when it's all said and done, you'll realize that discipline didn't just give you results. It gave you the freedom to live without limits. Comfort zones feel safe because they protect you from risk, failure, and embarrassment. But what they really do is protect you from growth. They keep you stuck in routines that require no real effort, no real courage, and no real change. The danger of comfort zones is that they don't make your life worse overnight. They make it worse slowly, silently, in ways you barely notice. They convince you that you're okay where you are, even if deep down you know you're capable of more. They lure you into thinking that stability is the same as progress. Over time, the walls of your comfort zone shrink around you, leaving you with fewer options and fewer opportunities. The world outside moves forward while you stand still, thinking you're safe. And one day you wake up realizing that safety cost you everything you wanted. Growth demands discomfort. It demands that you step into situations where you're not sure if you'll succeed, where failure is possible and fear is real. The problem is, most people avoid those situations because they mistake discomfort for danger. Discomfort isn't danger. It's the signal that you're in the right place, standing. It's proof that you're pushing against your limits instead of living beneath them. Every skill you've ever learned, every milestone you've ever reached, started with discomfort. The first time you did it, you were nervous. The first time you tried, you felt awkward. But you pushed through, and that's how you grew. Standing. Comfort zones rob you of that process by keeping you from even starting. The reason comfort zones are so dangerous is that they're addictive. The more time you spend in one, the harder it becomes to leave. You start making excuses to justify staying where you are. You tell yourself the timing isn't right, the conditions aren't perfect. Standing, or you'll try when you're ready. But the truth is, you'll never be ready if you don't start. Readiness is built in the process of stepping out, not in the safety of staying put. And every day you wait, your comfort zone grows stronger. It feeds on your hesitation until it convinces you that change is impossible, when in reality, it's your inaction that makes it so. Stepping out of your comfort zone isn't just about chasing big goals. It's about keeping your mind and spirit alive. Standing. When you stop challenging yourself, you start decaying from the inside. You might not notice it at first, but your energy fades, your ambition weakens. Standing and your confidence slips away. You stop dreaming as big because you stop believing you can handle the work it takes. Standing. That's how comfort zones kill. They don't destroy you with one big blow. They chip away at your strength until there's nothing left to fight with. By the time you realize it, you've been settling for far less than you're capable of for far too long. Breaking free from comfort requires courage. And courage is not the absence of fear. It's acting in spite of it. You will be afraid, you will be uncertain, and you will doubt yourself. But those feelings are part of the process, not signs that you should stop. The people who grow are not the ones who wait until they feel fearless, but the ones who take the step anyway. Courage is built in motion, not in waiting. Every time you act in the face of fear, you take power away from your comfort zone. And the more power you take, the smaller it becomes, until the things that once terrified you feel like second nature. One of the most dangerous lies comfort zones tell is that you have more time. They whisper that you can try later, that opportunities will always be there, and that life will wait for you. But life doesn't wait. Opportunities pass, time moves, and every day you hesitate is a day you'll never get back. Comfort zones make you believe you can afford to waste time, but time is the one thing you can't buy back once it's gone. The clock is always ticking, standing. And the longer you stay where it's safe, the less time you have to build the life you actually want. That's the silent cost most people never calculate until it's too late. Stepping into discomfort is like stepping into the unknown. It's unpredictable, messy, and often harder than you expected. But that's where all the rewards are. That's where the skills are developed, the connections are made, and the breakthroughs happen. You can't grow in an environment that never changes. You can't build resilience without resistance. The more you seek discomfort, the more capable you become. Eventually, you start craving challenge instead of fearing it. Your comfort zone expands, and with it, so does your life. Every time you break a limit, you redefine what's possible for yourself. What once seemed too hard becomes normal. And what once scared you becomes manageable. This is how growth works. It's a constant process of stepping beyond what's familiar until the impossible becomes possible. And then you do it again. Comfort zones keep you from experiencing that transformation. They convince you to play small, and when you play small for long enough, you forget what playing big even feels like. Life will always give you two choices, the easy path and the hard path. The easy path keeps you comfortable now but costs you later. Standing. The hard path challenges you now but rewards you later. The problem is, the comfort zone always disguises the easy path as the smart choice. It convinces you that avoiding difficulty is logical. But if you look at anyone who has grown, achieved, or transformed their life, you'll see they all took the hard path. They embraced discomfort and used it as a tool instead of running from it. That's the path that leads to a life worth living. Every great achievement has a hidden cost, standing, and that cost is paid in suffering. You don't get to the top without nights of exhaustion, days of frustration, and moments where you want to give up. Greatness is not handed out. It's earned through a relentless willingness to endure what others avoid. Most people want the glory but not the grind, standing. The rewards but not the sacrifice. They want to be remembered, but they don't want to live the kind of life that demands remembrance. Suffering is the toll booth on the road to greatness, and everyone has to pay it. There are no shortcuts, no back doors, no easy lanes. If you refuse to suffer standing, you refuse to grow. And if you refuse to grow, greatness will always be out of reach. Suffering forces you to confront who you really are. Standing, it strips away the image you have of yourself and reveals your true character. In moments of pain, when you have nothing left to give, you find out if you're the type who fights or folds. Suffering doesn't care about your excuses, your comfort, or your fears. It demands everything from you. And if you give it everything, it gives you something back. It gives you strength that can't be faked, confidence that can't be borrowed, and resilience that can't be taught in comfort. Every hour you suffer with purpose is an investment in your own transformation. That investment always pays, but it only pays those who are willing to endure the full cost. There's a reason the average life is average. It's because most people avoid suffering at all costs. They convince themselves they can find an easier way, a softer route, a painless climb. But the truth is, those routes don't lead anywhere worth going. Avoiding suffering doesn't just keep you comfortable, it keeps you weak. It keeps you in the same place year after year, wondering why nothing changes. And the worst part is, life will still bring suffering your way. It's just that you'll face it without the strength you could have built if you'd chosen it on your own terms. That's why voluntary suffering is powerful. It prepares you for the involuntary kind that life will throw at you anyway. Standing. Every moment of suffering in pursuit of something meaningful reshapes you. It teaches you patience when you want results now. It teaches you focus when distractions are calling. Standing. It teaches you discipline when giving up is easier. Most people never learn these lessons because they avoid the situations that require them. But greatness demands that you learn them, and the only classroom for those lessons is suffering. When you embrace that truth, standing, you stop looking for ways to escape the hard moments and start looking for ways to use them. Standing. You understand that the pain you feel is the very thing that is shaping you into someone capable of achieving what you once thought impossible. The path to greatness is lonely because most won't walk it with you. When you suffer for your goals, you'll see people drift away. Some won't understand, and some won't approve, and some will simply be uncomfortable watching you do what they can't. But suffering alone builds a kind of independence that no one can take from you. Standing. It forces you to rely on your own strength, your own will, your own belief. And when you finally reach the point where others can see what you've been working for, they'll call it talent, luck, or a gift. But you'll know it was suffering, the hours, the failures, the pain that bought it. Suffering isn't just about enduring pain. It's about enduring it with purpose. Random pain without meaning is torture, but pain directed toward a goal is transformation. It's the difference between getting burned and forging steel. When you suffer with purpose, every drop of sweat, every moment of struggle, every setback becomes part of the process. Standing, you begin to value the hard days as much as the easy ones because you know they're building something inside you that nothing else can. Without suffering, you may still live, but you will never fully become. Greatness demands more from you than you think you can give. It will push you to your limits and then demand that you go further. Standing. It will strip away the safety nets you've relied on and force you to find strength in places you've never looked. Every part of you will want to stop standing. But that's when the process is doing its most important work. Suffering builds the endurance to keep going when nothing is going your way. Standing. It builds the mental toughness to fight through doubt and fear. And it builds the emotional resilience to stand tall when the weight of the world is on your shoulders. Standing. The reality is simple. The world does not reward the comfortable. It rewards the relentless. Those who embrace suffering as part of the process are the ones who rise. They don't just endure it, they seek it, knowing it's the fastest route to growth. While others are avoiding pain, standing, they're stacking the kind of strength that turns challenges into victories. They understand that suffering is not a setback, it's the proving ground. Standing. It's the filter that separates those who wish from those who achieve. And if you want to pass through that filter, you must be willing to pay the price. So, if you want greatness, accept the suffering. Welcome it. Let it shape you, strengthen you, and strip away the parts of you that don't belong on the path ahead. Every time you endure, you get closer to the life you've imagined. Every time you push through, you become harder to break. Standing. And when the day comes that you've reached the top of the mountain, you'll look back at the suffering, not as the worst part of the journey, but as the part that made it all possible. Because in the end, suffering is the price of greatness. Stand in, and those who refuse to pay it will never know what it feels like to truly win.